Welcome to another episode. Are my lips full? They are? Because of the last guest had the full lips thing. Anyway, welcome to another episode of Entrepreneurs of Fuego. We're documenting the journey of amazing entrepreneurs, one digital footprint at a time. Michelle Buonincontri.
I love it.
Very
impressed.
I should say it Buonincontri, which is more Italianized, a little bit more Spanish into it, without the accent and everything.
I like that.
You're a certified financial planner and a divorce specialist or financial specialist.
Yes, I also have a certification as a certified divorce financial analyst as well.
See, Taylor is going to get married here next year or something like that. So she'll never use you.
I hope so. I hope we don't ever meet again, Taylor. Really. And that's actually part of the reason I went for this extra designation.
What is it exactly that you do as a certified divorce analyst? I mean, that's a certification of the things because you're also an accountant, right?
Well, I'm a certified financial planner.
Sure.
So we work with clients to really look at their lives, their assets, their liabilities, identify their goals, the life they want to lead, and create a plan to help them do that. And that's usually about retirement. And unfortunately, one of the single most things that can ruin your retirement plan is getting divorced. People don't realize the huge financial and emotional impact. And because of my own divorce, having a financial background, it wasn't a great experience. It was really horrific. I've seen lives of too many friends, both my sisters and two of my best friends ruined in divorce. And the primary reason is when you're going through a divorce, especially if there's attorneys involved, people aren't really taking into consideration the short and the long-term impact of the decisions that they're making. Your attorney is skilled in law, right? So if you went to your doctor and you were asking him to diagnose a disease, would you have him diagnose what's wrong with your car because he knows diagnostics? So just because you go to your attorney and he's skilled in creating a negotiation and a settlement doesn't mean he really understands the financial impact of the choices that you're making.
Right.
And it looks good on paper, but if you don't really understand the nature of the assets you're dividing, the tax implications, what will be the implication of somebody's cash flow and net worth long term, it can look really good, and one person is left in poverty within a couple of years and somebody else's net worth is skyrocketing. And so for me, we came together in love, right, when people marry, and I feel like I want to help there to be healing there. I want them to be able to divide their assets in a way that's fair and helps to minimize the emotional and the financial impact of that.
The question to that would be fair to whom? And you make it fair to your client?
Well, first of all, I won't work with anybody who wants to be in a litigation type situation.
Sure.
So I could work with an individual or as a financial neutral with a couple. So if you're working with one party, you're really representing them. However, I wouldn't work with someone who's looking to really screw somebody else.
There you go. And that's I think what makes you entirely different than, for instance, an attorney who by law must advocate for his or her client.
I'm advocating for them as a couple. They had a life once together and they want to have a life again. So for me, it wouldn't resonate with me if I'm helping somebody negotiate a deal that's going to hurt another person. It's kind of like karma.
How do you deal with the emotional aspect of it though? Because even as you're trying to stay as, and I don't want to use the word neutral, but as factual perhaps as possible and futuristic in seeing what the impact of what essentially your advice is going to be for this particular couple.
Mm-hmm.
How do you reconcile all that? It's got to be very, very difficult not to mix the emotions in there.
Well, it's interesting. A couple of years ago, I actually went for a life coaching program because I just wanted to have that additional edge with working with my clients with their money, right? Because it's almost like money is more taboo than sex. And you want people to be able to, trust you, and you want to be able to break down those boundaries and have that connection with them. So I really try to use those tools that I learned in my life coaching program and just really kind of connecting. When something's going on and maybe there's an impasse and you're just looking at the facts, to be able to stop and say, what's really going on for you right now? And so my company is called Being Mindful in Divorce. And the reason is because I want people to be aware, mindful, what is happening for you emotionally in this moment? You know, are you bringing something from the past? Are you projecting into the future so that people can be more fair and have that objective, let me take a step back moment?
In your experience, this is an entirely unscientific question. In your experience, do you find that are men or women more reluctant to accept the reality that is before them?
I think it goes both ways. It's different. I think for men, it's difficult to accept the reality that maybe they have to support a family a lot of times. They want to be able to step away. And I think for the women, they have this unrealistic expectation, particularly if they've been speaking with an attorney or other family members, that they have this lifestyle that they're entitled to. And like, let's be honest, this is one pot of money that supported a family, right? How do you divide it in half and have the same lifestyle? You can't. So part of the process is really helping clients to manage their expectations about what's really feasible and what's fair and what can they expect. It's not this pie in the sky, I'm going to take you to court. Yeah, you can do that. I mean, my own personal experience, my ex-husband and I had everything completely drawn out. We went to a mediator. It was going to cost $1,800. Great. He was stuck on a very fine point about contributing to the education of our daughter for her last year in high school. And so within a week or two, I realized that that could really be a sticking point, so I took that right off the table. I said, I'll just take the whole burden. It's okay. Let's just move forward. And
that probably made
well, I thought it would have ended it, but and he was actually the one that wanted the divorce, in fact. But all of a sudden, in talking to family, his new girlfriend, he decided, no, let's like sue each other for divorce. And I spent a lot of money that never had to have been spent.
Not to mention the emotional drain.
Yeah, my kids are just getting over it now.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And that is the other aspect, right? I think that in your own experience that you have to consider, right? I mean, the emotional expense that goes with going through a divorce, rather than, hey, look, let's sit down and try to figure this out. It's best for the kids, it's best for us, let's save some money, but also the emotional.
Yeah. Now here I'm a financial person, and I couldn't even get my own attorney to recognize those facts and present it to another attorney in that way. Because once you get sucked into that cycle, unfortunately, it seems that there's no way out. I have one girlfriend, 7 years to get a divorce in New York. 7 years.
I want to be that attorney, because you know what, when you think about it, attorneys make money by being attorneys, by attorneying,
by promising you what you're probably going to get, which never comes to fruition. You're just really paying the money out and it's filling their pockets.
You are the sanest alternative to somebody that is going to go through a divorce. And look, it's hard to say that a divorce or a split is not going to be as contentious as possible, right? I mean, there's going to be some kind of dispute and animosity, if you will. But if you bring somebody with an expertise such as yourself that is going to be able to put things in perspective and in a plate that is called, this is the real deal, then it makes sense, right?
I think so. I think so.
You know, I got divorced. My ex-wife still lives with me.
That's wonderful.
Because it makes
I love
sense.
that. That's an awesome
we're
story.
We're best friends. Yeah, well, it makes sense. You know what I mean? Hey, look, we're under one roof. We're best friends. We got 2 kids. They graduated, but yeah, it makes sense. My best friend.
Yeah.
You met her right outside.
Oh, really? That's wonderful. I love it. That's a great story.
But you have to be. I suppose you have to acquire a level of I don't know, maturity, I suppose, in order to be able to do that.
Yeah, I would think so. That's why not everybody's client, right?
Right. How did you get to do this? Because you know this is about your journey as an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
After all, so did you work for corporate America before?
Yeah, I actually for 25 years I was a software developer and I worked on projects. I was in banking, and I always loved my job. And probably around 2005, with all the mergers, I really started questioning, what do I contribute to the world? And so in 2000, when my daughter was first going to school, I had been at church, and there was a missionary, and he was talking about the work he did. And he cited, I believe it's JFK, and he said, you know, if not I, who? If not now, when? And I was so struck by that sitting in the audience listening to this, that they actually were holding an election for the school board. And my daughter wasn't even in the school yet. I actually ran for school board. And so that was my first real kind of introduction to there's a community greater than myself.
Right.
And so by 2005, I really started questioning my own participation through my life work. What am I really contributing? And although I had this wonderful deal where I only worked, because the universe really conspires to bring us exactly what we need, I had this wonderful job where I only worked part-time, I worked exclusively from home, and I made a really good salary. So I got to be the lacrosse mom, the soccer mom, I got to be hall duty, lunch duty, all those great things that the moms get to do, and I made a really great salary, right, and got to raise my kids. And I started to question that, and all my friends were like, you're crazy, how could you walk away from that? And by 2008, it was like the answer just kind of came. So my ex-husband and I were actually meeting with a financial planner who was a friend of a friend, and he knew I wasn't really happy at my current career any longer. And we walked out and he looked at me and he said, you're so much smarter than she is. You can do what she does. Find out what you need to do. And so I did, and I decided to quit my job, but I didn't tell my job yet. So I started to go to school at night, and here's where the universe really is awesome and conspires. So I kept getting this job offer at work that they wanted to change my job. So if I was doing this much work, they were going to pay me the same work, and they just want me to do this much.
Oh my God.
But I couldn't accept it because I felt horrible to accept a paycheck from doing this much to doing this much. And so I just kept saying, no, I'm a business analyst, that's what I do now. No, I'm not going to be a tester. No, I'm not going to do it. And so because I refused to accept the position, they decided to lay me off. Well, I'd already decided that I was going to quit the following month. And the only reason I was continuing to work was I agreed with my husband that I would pay for a trip to Mexico for my 40th birthday that summer. And so my job had no idea I was about to quit, so now they laid me off. I got a year's severance. I was able to collect unemployment at the same time. They paid me a stipend to go to school. And it was awesome. So within 18 months, I finished school and I became a financial planner. And there's just a million other stories like that that have occurred in my life since then.
The lesson we learned today is don't quit, allow yourself to be fired. That's the lesson that I'm learning today. And I hope I never see you again. No, actually, Taylor hopes she never see you again. In all good jest. With that, did you have fun?
Yes, I did. That was much better than I thought it was going to be. Really, a lot easier. Thank you.
That's a testament as to whatever we do around here.
Yes, absolutely.
We're going to have you back here in about a couple of years because I want to hear some of these divorce stories. They got to be some fun.
Oh, well, hopefully they're going to be about healing because I would really love. I have a friend who's a mediator in Tempe, and she's always boasting about how many couples she's actually gotten back together that have never had a divorce. And if I could be used in that way, I'm totally open to that.
You'll never have to use her ever again.
Well, for healing.
For healing.
Yes.
Healing is good.
Yes.
With that, we're out.